1, 2. Brand new batteries, just took them out of the box.
Brand new batteries,
Yep,
right out of the
right
box.
out of the box. Just did it.
You're still wearing that sweater.
Oh, no, it's a nice sweater.
No, I thought you were getting something in the mail. That's a bummer.
And it's cold, you need a nice one sweater. Good for you. Well, you will be under the lights in more ways than one. You will be fine.
So I'm moving the mic this way, okay? Should be good to go.
On a screen that's in presentation.
The only thing that's on there is just the, no presentation.
Well, that screen will lock because it's not a presentation.
This will lock?
Yes, it will.
So what do you want?
If you open up a PowerPoint, whoever's first.
All right, come on, mouse.
If that locks, like I said, we are in deep, deep trouble.
So if we,
Start the presentation.
dang it. Slide room from the beginning. That's good? We can just leave it here?
We should be okay, yeah.
Okay.
Because we're in, that's the PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, that's what, but I don't want that showing up yet.
Well, up there, it won't.
Well, it is. That is the presentation.
Something's got to be up.
That's up.
Well, are you in the presentation?
No.
It's going to lock, and I cannot unlock it.
Okay.
In which case, we are in deep trouble.
So you want a
We
presentation
want
up?
a presentation open on the first screen.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
So what I'll do is,
Or last screen, or any screen. I mean, that doesn't, I don't care what. That doesn't matter.
wait a second, now that it's up, that can stay that way? It's, I didn't start the presentation. Do you need me to start the
Yes.
presentation?
First slide, or
Got
any
it.
slide. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Right, well, I don't want to, I mean, that's what I'd like to have, but we're going to go with that.
That's a slide in the presentation.
It is now. There we go.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, as long as the presentation's up and running, it won't lock. But if it, yeah,
would it lock, though?
it goes to sleep. You've seen it, I'm sure. Laptops go to sleep, battery saver kind of thing.
Can you turn sleep mode off?
We tried that, and it didn't take, and I don't know why.
Interesting.
Yeah, and believe me, that was my first choice.
Well, okay.
But if you've got something up and running, and that's fine.
Okay.
But I just want to emphasize, if it locks, we are in deep trouble.
So wait a second, are you saying if it locks, we're in deep trouble?
Yes.
I'm kind of getting the sense if it locks.
I want to make that clear.
If it locks, we might be in deep trouble.
And then walk down them.
You did it.
All right.
Well done.
Just so I know what these shoes are slippery or not, I gotta know what every surface feels like.
Wait, do you think you can walk
I'll do my best.
up the entire row of steps?
Certainly. You mean like on here?
Yes.
Yeah, sir.
Probably good.
We shouldn't try that.
You probably should.
Oh, on those? Yeah. I could do that. Maybe not on shoes, but I think.
You're a rock climber, you should be able to do it.
Yeah, my balance isn't great. Usually like my hand on something.
If that happens, I've got to call 911, paperwork, I just don't feel like that tonight. Well, probably should.
That would be memorable.
It would be, yeah.
Classic.
I'm gonna get up there, I'm gonna take one step and I'll be there. Right here.
Are you guys in a group chat? Oh, Prop P says, sit down in the 2 rows behind us. I forgot to send it out. That way you're all together.
Do we pull the yellow tape or?
I'll leave it until they're here. Because, you know, there's a rush.
All right. Sounds good.
You want them to right behind us?
I added in presenter notes in mine. But I have the backup paper.
That's good.
Yeah, I learned that in grad school. Don't.
Trustee paper.
What do you think about this random plastic plant?
I was gonna say, I appreciate the strategic communities. There's another one, so it's not alone.
Okay, good.
It's framed on both sides.
I wonder if that's something we should start
At once, everything's.
props. Like big totems or something.
Like we all come up and just kind of, like I'll jump on a pogo stick, everyone else just started juggling or something, and then I'll run, go ahead and have.
You know, what if you had 4 things that represented the projects?
I bring the Northern Lights here.
Objects. Or lights, scars.
I've already got my body here, and it's great.
You just bring anybody. Here's John Doe.
Yeah.
We haven't identified who it is yet, but
How many know his name is John Doe, though?
well, that's just
That's right.
Okay,
that's the stereotypical like
you know,
Headless turn.
I know that. But why John Doe?
like how they decide that.
Why John and why Doe?
I guess John is very common, but I don't remember the Doe came from.
I feel like it
Because
might have
it's
been
Jane
like a
Doe,
play
too.
way back when. It might have been a play or something way back when.
Yes, that is something that the internet's going to tell us. Why is it John Doe?
Okay. It came from a placeholder name that's used in the British, Canadian, American legal systems when the true name of the person is unknown or being intentionally concealed.
That still doesn't say why, does it?
No, it just says the origin.
Okay. The names John Doe and
So, first things first. Hello, seniors. There they are. Always have to get a selfie. It's my last photograph with you guys. So, welcome. It's for the middle schooler and all of us, all right? We actually had a few laughs this semester. PJ, you were doing this, and everybody started laughing at a crit. Like, we knew PJ was thinking about 6'7". Yeah. Nothing? Like, that's good type. Right? Welcome, everyone. I'm Troy Patterson, the full-time faculty in graphic design here at York College. Welcome to the Senior Graphic Design Thesis Presentation Exhibition. Thank you, President Burns, Dr. Landau, the fine art faculty, our graphic design adjunct faculty. I'd also like to thank our business partners for supporting our program and students through internships. It will never stop. And to the parents and guardians of these students, thank you for trusting your daughters and sons to study graphic design. They made an excellent choice. Contrary to popular belief, nerdy glasses, a laptop, some software, and a room with no windows are not the only requirements for success in the graphic design field. Designers at York are drawers, illustrators, researchers, critical thinkers, and particularly thoughtful individuals. They thrive in hands-on analog making. York's designers benefit from working with faculty who are experts in lettering arts, printmaking, and darkroom processes. In our letterpress studio, they engage with graphic design history. Our students combine these traditional practices to produce award-winning work that elevates their portfolios. They work in motion graphics and animation. Their photography is award-winning. They document the world in digital processes. They are web designers working in user experience. They all have self-published books. They design typefaces. They are entrepreneurs already hustling to make work for side gigs. Our students learn all the things, and that's what this group certainly has done. For this senior thesis, I work with 16 fabulous graphic designers. Could all the seniors please stand up? Turn around. Say thanks, Mom and Dad. You may sit. In Senior Design Studio, I asked them to map out their ideas, navigate where they came from, where they're at, and where they are headed. This research set their GPS to our theme, road trip. Tonight, we celebrate 4 fall graduates who unpacked who they are and what they're interested in, only to pack the trunk and fill the tank for their senior thesis projects. Buckle up, because this year's exhibition takes you on a full throttle road trip through the creative minds of these designers. They have spent the semester charting new routes, merging imagination with grit, taking the scenic routes and fast lanes, navigating creative twists and turns, and driving their ideas all the way to the finish line. Sojourn. Sojourn is a temporary stay. These seniors are your navigators, and this exhibition is not their final destination, but a roadside attraction like no other. Their stay is temporary, so be sure to enjoy the sights. Welcome to Sojourn. Kyles.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kyles Robinson, and I'm going to start things off with a little about myself. I originally came to York College as an engineering student and faced a lot of academic and mental struggles my first year, of which ultimately led me down a path that felt more true to me. While attending as an engineering student, I took a psychology class that really kick-started my journey of self-discovery, even leading to my autism and ADHD diagnosis. This really helped me embrace a creative path and eventual switch to graphic design. In my first design class, I created a wizard frog pattern and discovered how repetition could transform small drawings into something bigger. I found something so soothing in the playful yet structured nature of pattern design. During an illustration class, I designed Teddy, a shy alligator who wears daisies to look more approachable. Through him, I reflected on my own masking and self-image, turning vulnerability into creativity and learning to express myself with honesty and warmth. I created packaging for fictional K-cups in my junior design studio class, which showed me how design shapes perception. The experience really connected psychology and visuals for me along the way, sparking my interest with design's influence in everyday experiences. In a design studio class, I branded 2 fictional companies, Phoebus and Silkworm, exploring how color and typography shape perception. This introduced me to brand identity and a love in seeing design's power to communicate personality and purpose. Photography, digital and analog, shaped my understanding of composition, lighting, and balance. Adjusting exposure and tone strengthened both my control and intuition, influencing my creative and visual decisions I make today. I've had the opportunity to explore the history, craft, and expressive potential of type. Shown above is a very experimental typeface I designed in the program that taught me to see type not just as text, but as a voice that shapes mood and strengthens communication. After always hiding behind black and neutrals, I learned to embrace vibrant, bold color that reflected confidence and emotion. Understanding how color communicates mood and intention has transformed both my work and how I present myself to the world. I have always been in awe of the work of graphic designer and illustrator Melanie Rogers. The work she designs are expressive in color, type, and illustrations. She inspired and really impacted my thinking through college and will continue to do so. Growing up with neglected neurodivergent needs severely impacted my mental health and personal growth despite a loving family. Through a semester-long book design project, I confronted these aspects and found a way to start the conversation with my family. For a print production class, I created an interactive poster about autism masking. High masking individuals hide traits to fit into a world not made for them. The project reflected my own experiences of being misunderstood through its revealing filters. As an autistic adult entering the workforce, I've seen the lack of meaningful accommodations. Burnout erases skills and isolates individuals, yet continues to be ignored. I want to contribute and thrive without hiding, but misunderstandings make this difficult every day. I worry about sustaining work in a society often unsympathetic to autistic adults. Many face prejudice and exclusion, not lack of skill. Studies show up to 85% are unemployed, highlighting that the problem isn't ability, but access. Constant burnout and job insecurity can lead to deep hopelessness and feeling abandoned. Research shows up to 66% of autistic adults experience suicidal thoughts, and 33% have attempted, revealing an urgent need for empathy, resources, and genuine change. My senior thesis project explores the connection between autistic burnout, unemployment, and suicide. Chronic stress from a world not designed for autistic needs can lead to profound exhaustion, isolation, and despair, highlighting urgent systemic gaps and the need for awareness. I use overwhelming color, bold type, and elaborate illustrations on a three-dimensional medium to reflect the strain of burnout. The overlapping experiences are revealed as the viewer moves around each piece, requiring unique perspectives. Using my engineering background, I designed an interactive space that displays each element of the cycle visually and textually. Special thanks to my Uncle Brian and his family for their help in the construction of my final pieces. Through my senior thesis, I am to raise awareness, foster empathy, and encourage reflection. The work emphasizes that autistic experiences are real, complex, and interconnected. Thank you all for coming out. I hope as you explore my project, it encourages understanding and sympathy for those around you. I'd like to thank my mom, professors, and classmates for their encouragement and hands-on support. And now I'd like to invite Blake Tingley up to the podium.
Hi, my name is Blake Tingley. I am a graphic design major here at York College of Pennsylvania. Throughout this presentation, I will be speaking to you all about the progress that I've made throughout the time that I've spent in the graphic design program here. Additionally, I'll be spending a brief amount of time introducing my final project that I've worked on throughout this semester. After graduating from high school in the spring of 2021, I came to York College in the fall of the same year. At that point, I had no idea what I was going to do. My major was undeclared until the end of my sophomore year in the spring of 2023. By this time, I had to make a decision on what my major was going to be in spite of my indecisiveness. I had taken history of graphic design and realized that it was right for me. Prior to taking that class, I had not given graphic design much thought. Around the end of that semester, I declared my major as graphic design. Later in the fall of 2023, I was in the intro-level courses for graphic design that freshmen would usually take, despite me being a junior. Alongside that fact, I was almost entirely unfamiliar with the software that we were using in the classes, namely Adobe Illustrator. In high school, I had taken a digital art class in which we used Photoshop, but aside from that, I was new to the programs. In other words, I was thrown into the deep end and had to learn to swim. Fortunately, I was able to become comfortable with the programs that we were using relatively quickly. As you can assume, I did not always feel like I fit in with everybody else. For a while, I was dealing with imposter syndrome. That was until I realized that everyone else was also dealing with their own things, and many people were in similar situations as myself, and some had gone through similar processes to get to graphic design as well. This is one of the first projects that I created. I had to create a pattern utilizing multiple different color palettes with multiple different color schemes, such as complementary or analogous. This is not perfect. I did not understand how to use the pen tool in Adobe Illustrator yet, and I was still trying to find a way to execute my ideas in the ways I wanted to. This is another project that I created early within my time in the graphic design program here. We were tasked with creating a poster for a musical artist using a limited color palette. It was the first project that I truly felt proud of and felt like it really represented me in a way. Furthermore, this project was also a way for me to easily experiment with color and texture in my work. This is a project in which we had to take an existing TV show and create a Netflix banner of it using a tool in Adobe Illustrator. This is also a project that I created early on that I felt proud of because of the gratification of figuring out the tool as well as finishing it on time. It also helped me to practice using Adobe Illustrator. For this project, we were directed to create a design for an app based upon our favorite music artist. I was not very good at web design initially. The program that we were using, Figma, functioned slightly differently from the Adobe products that I had become a bit used to in the previous semesters. Despite this, the process of learning how to make layouts that would be used within websites was important. This is a photo of my sophomore portfolio. Obviously, this would normally happen during a student's sophomore year. For me, it happened this past spring instead, while I was technically a senior. Regardless of it being later than it normally would have been, the process of hanging up my work on the wall, as well as it being evaluated by my professor, was an important milestone for me to have overcome. This is a booklet in which we were given a random phrase on Wikipedia, and we had to find other phrases related to it within 3 clicks or less. After choosing the phrases, we had to create pages in the booklet to represent them alongside text from the Wikipedia page itself. I decided to choose the phrases that would have the most impact on the viewer, coupled with strong imagery. This is an example of some of hand lettering work that I've done. It is a lettering style that incorporates slight exaggerations of the letters. I had a bit of a disadvantage within that class as I was the only left-handed person, and some of the lettering styles are a bit easier for right-handed people. Even so, I persevered and I was able to create projects that I felt proud of. This is a project from when we were tasked with creating the logo, business card, and other stationery for a fictional brand that we created. Mine was called Jailbreak, a fictional locksmith service. Throughout this project, we had to work within deadlines and present our work as if it was being presented to a client, which was good practice for the future. This is a project that we were given 1 week to complete. We had to create the logo and packaging design for a fictional K-Cup brand. It was a bit of a daunting task at first, but it was made possible due to pacing myself, researching the things I needed to research, and making sure I did each part of the project gradually instead of trying to cram it all at the last minute. This image is one of the photos I took during a digital photography class. That class was the first time I had used a digital camera, but in the process, I ended up realizing that I love photography, even though I struggled with the camera controls at first. Because of this realization, I felt confident that I could use photography in projects down the line, which eventually became part of my senior project. This is the documentation book. Each student was given the task of creating a book consisting of 10,000 words, documenting something of their choice throughout the semester. I struggled with motivation, so 10,000 words sounded very challenging. Despite this, I was able to set goals for myself and finish it. This project was also the starting point for my decision to use digital photography for my final project. This is one of the film photos that I've taken this semester. I'm used to digital photography, so there was a bit of a learning curve throughout this process, especially with taking out the roll of film and developing the photos. However, using a medium that has a slow process has been helpful for learning to take my time. This also served as another inspiration for my final project. My final project is a photo book consisting of interviews accompanied by photos of strangers. I asked each person in the book their permission to interview them, photograph them, and record it all within a book. I asked each of the people to introduce themselves, and I asked them one question about an experience or event that has changed their life. An inspiration for this was Imran Nouri, who created a similar book titled Advice from America. The reason for why I decided on this as my final project was because I realized that I know so little about the people around me that I encounter on a daily basis. I also did it so that hopefully the reader will see the answers and stories that the people had given me in response and remind themselves that every person has their own path that led them here. To recap, my experience within the graphic design program here at your college has been perhaps atypical. This has, in a way, inspired my final project, which looks at the differences between us and how every person has their own path to walk. I would like to end by thanking the audience, my professors, friends, family, and classmates. I would like to invite Quinn Himmelberger up to the podium.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Quinn Himmelberger, and I'm a graphic design major with minors in fine art, art history, and psychology. Each of these passions has shaped how I approach creativity, seeing art not just as design, but as emotion, empathy, and storytelling. I graduated high school in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. It was an uncertain time filled with distance and change. I began college at IUP near Pittsburgh as a psychology major, where I discovered how understanding human behavior and emotion can deeply inform how we communicate through visual storytelling. After struggling with online classes and the loneliness that came with them, I transferred to York College in 2021 and switched my major to graphic design. That decision reconnected me with creativity and helped me realize how design and psychology could come together through art therapy, showing others feelings they can't always put into words. My college journey hasn't been smooth. Between navigating COVID and switching schools and majors, I then got into a car accident that fractured my wrist just 2 weeks before this semester. Every challenge taught me something new about resilience, patience, and the importance of prioritizing my mental health while still chasing the things that make me feel fulfilled. Through all of it, my family, friends, boyfriend, and Professor Patterson have been my biggest supporters. They've encouraged me to keep going even through uncertainty. They've taught me that growth is never a solo journey. It's built through connection, compassion, and the people who remind you of your potential. One of my favorite projects was the Tipsy Shake, a brand identity project for an alcoholic milkshake company. As a team, we came up with the idea, then individually created the logo, letterhead, and business set. It taught me how collaboration brings diverse ideas to life and how design makes these concepts feel believable and professional. In print production, I created an interactive poster using sculpture wire and plastic bags to raise awareness about water pollution. It was experimental, but it showed me how design can be tactile and emotional. I learned that sometimes the process itself can communicate the message more powerfully than words ever could. In Web Design 1, I built my first website, a barbershop concept called the Fade Room using Figma. It was my first experience translating design into an interactive digital space. I learned how hierarchy, movement, and user flow are all part of how people experience and emotionally connect with a brand online. In Web Design 2, I designed a website, soap website, completely from scratch using Figma's prototyping tools. Creating hover effects was such a cool moment because it made the site feel alive. That project taught me how design and technology work together to build experiences that feel intuitive, beautiful, and human. In publication design, we created a biomedical newsletter where my professor acted as a real client in Florida. Assets came late and out of order, and we had to adapt quickly. I learned how to communicate professionally, manage time, and problem solve like a designer in a real setting, not just a student completing an assignment. The WikiReader project showed how one word can lead you somewhere completely unexpected. By following hyperlinks down endless paths, I discovered how curiosity drives creativity. It reminded me that design often works the same way. You start with one small idea and it unfolds into something bigger, richer, and beautifully unpredictable. In our cookbook spread project, we each created a recipe and traded with a classmate. Designing from their words was surprisingly personal. It felt like capturing their story through visuals. I learned that collaboration in design is an act of trust, and creativity grows strongest when shared between other people. The Rush project challenged us to build a full coffee brand in just 1 week, logo, packaging, and K-Cup design. It was intense but rewarding. I learned how to trust my creative instincts, make fast decisions, and hold on to quality under pressure, a lesson that's carried into every one of my projects since. One of my proudest projects is Grooveade, a 1970s-inspired sparkling lemonade brand. My inspiration came from 70s ads with their psychedelic patterns, citrus colors, and playful typography. I wanted the brand to feel nostalgic, energetic, and fun, and it showed me how design can transport people to a different time. For Grooveade's style guide, I developed packaging prototypes, logo applications, and color standards. Building a consistent identity from scratch taught me how every choice, like tone, texture, and spacing, matters. Branding, I realized, isn't just design. It's building a whole atmosphere that makes people want to belong to a story. Found and Formed was my semester-long documentation book, where we had to record our full creative process in 10,000 words and our own images. I focused mine on handmade type, building letters and words from everyday objects. Then I reflected on why I chose each object and how those choices shaped the meaning behind the words. Throughout my projects, I realized I was always drawn to emotion and helping people feel understood. I kept focusing on how design makes people feel. Blending psychology with creativity showed me how powerful design can be for connection, guiding me towards something more emotional and supportive. For my senior project, I took inspiration from my own middle school experiences and the feelings I wish I had language for at that age. I also looked at existing mental health workbooks and child-friendly illustration styles, and I wanted to create something supportive, simple, and easy for kids to understand and actually connect with. Looking back, I realized there was a pattern in my work. I've always used design to explore emotion, reflection, and healing. That realization became the inspiration for my senior thesis, a mental health workbook with creative prompts to help middle schoolers understand themselves and express their feelings and find comfort through art. I wouldn't be here without my family, friends, boyfriend, and Professor Patterson. Their constant encouragement, advice, and belief in me carried me through every doubt and challenge. I'm beyond grateful for how far I've come and the people who helped me find my voice through design. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Morgan Nolte.
Hello, everybody. Thank you all for coming to our exhibition tonight. My name is Morgan Nolte, and I'm a graphic design student here at York College, Pennsylvania. These past few years, I've been developing my technical skills in graphic design alongside my own growth as a person. Tonight, I'm here to share this journey with all of you. When I was a kid, my idea of a good time was dirty feet and scraped knees. I was always outside climbing hills, playing with my friends, and catching frogs. I have my family to thank for an active childhood. Memories like my dad pulling me on a boogie board through flooded streets in my neighborhood when it rained. I always have his support. The adventures I couldn't get as a child were absorbed through stories. I was a huge reader and daydreamer when I was young. My mom made sure of it. Growing up each December, my sister and I got to unwrap one book every night leading up to Christmas that our mom would read to us. I have her to thank for teaching me the importance of stories. As an active kid, I tried a few different sports. I did soccer and gymnastics briefly when I was a toddler, took part in Girls on the Run for a bit. I played lacrosse for only 1 year, then quit because I didn't like that girls were not allowed to hit each other with the sticks, but boys could. And then I finally settled on a sport I could enjoy and grow in, volleyball. For years, I didn't watch my sister play volleyball. I was an easily bored kid, sorry Mallory. Despite this, I somehow started playing. Volleyball is the reason I'm here at YCP. I was recruited to play when I was in high school and did some research. Graphic design program, decent campus, tuition was doable, thank you parents. So here I am now. People often see passively, attention caught by their interests. I found this polyphemus moth my first year on campus by chance. My friends have been shocked at how quickly I spot moths now, because I'm used to looking for them. Moths inspire me to actively observe more, to see things I don't notice at first glance, something I've been trying to be more conscious of. The northern lights were always something surreal to me when I was younger, an unattainable sight. I thought they were beautiful, but never actually believed I would get to see them. In December 2020, I went to Iceland with my family and saw the northern lights. Beyond being an amazing experience, this moment showed me that there's nothing out of my reach. My sister inspires me to experience life. When she wants to do something, she just does it. She's the kind of person to suggest a trip across the world and be on a flight a month later. I've been trying to pivot my life towards this mindset of experiencing things because of her. She teaches me to enjoy life, which I most often do when I'm with her. As an adult, my idea of a good time is still dirty feet and scraped knees. Last summer, I took my first big trip without my family, flying out to Kentucky with friends to rock climb for a weekend. It solidified my independence and guided me further to this idea of experiencing. These moments are in my reach, proven time and time again through journeys like these. Many of my experiences make themselves known in my work. Bug Jug is an experimental typeface created from the patterns of beetles, named after my car. Type of Fire and Ice is based on Iceland, inspired by the shape and motion of the northern lights. Observations give form in typography, a skill I've leaned implementing for many projects. Letterpress was love at first print. I enjoy using my hands and interacting with traditional methods of typesetting. To the Moon and Back is a love letter, something my family often says. Climb Rocks for Fun is a reminder to myself to do things for the sake of enjoyment. Both pieces have been accepted in annual juried student exhibitions here at YCP. Letterpress made its way into other projects, including in the title of this interactive poster about why spiders should not be killed. There are 3 pull tabs that can be moved out from the eyes of the spider and the tiny person underneath it. Integration of nature and creatures come up often in my work, including here and with my bug job typeface. Moving with the nature theme, an insect is also used in my K-Cup box and logo. The design is inspired by the hickory-horned caterpillar, pulling in its shape for the logo in earthy tones throughout the package, paving the way for a brand that makes a devilishly delectable tea and whiskey blend. I always love exploring narratives in my work. This project asked me to create a postcard that symbolically represented me. I was named after Captain Morgan, so I dressed up, had some pictures taken, and lettered an I Cap'n, which is also my cheer in volleyball. It represents the origins of my name and brings in the adventurous aspects of my life. Photography is something I've exponentially grown interest in. Photos can tell stories all on their own, and I like how they can be paired with other design skills to create an impactful piece. These are examples of my work from darkroom photography. As a chronic overshooter, they have taught me to be more intentional with how and when I photograph a subject. Good Others, the Wiki Walk was an exploration of words on Wikipedia. I used this as an opportunity to push limits of what I can do in publication design. I wrote haikus for each word, having imagery implemented to drive the narrative I made for the viewer. This piece is one of my favorites to date, and was also accepted in an annual juried exhibition here. Divulgence is the act of revealing or making known something that was previously unknown, sensitive, or secret. My senior project explores stories and experiences by taking a close look at the physical form through photography and interviews, researching photographers like Lisette Modell, Joel Meyerowitz, and Robert Mapplethorpe for inspiration. Body divulgence is the result of this work. It is a close, intimate look into the lives of people who shared their stories with me to share with all of you. Stories like these are often seen only by those who choose to see them. Tonight, I encourage you to observe rather than just look, not only at my own project, but also the wonderful work of my classmates. At the start of the semester, someone told me to enjoy my time in college because it would be the best 4 years of my life. My immediate thought was, man, I sure hope not. My college experience was good, but will not be the best years. The next 4 years will be, then the 4 after that, and so on. My experiences won't stop after tonight. I'll only grow from here. I want to thank my peers and professors in the program, the friends I've made at the school, and how they have helped me grow as a designer and person. A special thank you to my amazing family. I couldn't have asked for a better one than all of you. A final thank you to everyone who can make it tonight, and I hope you enjoy your experience. I'd like to invite Professor Patterson back to the podium.
How about that? One more time. Congratulations, you nailed it. Seniors, thank you for this year. It's been tough. My wife said not to do this, but I'm doing it anyways. Thank you. Your support has been amazing for me. So, listen, we have some portfolios out there, right? You may look at them. Please be very, very careful with them. That is their gold. That is what is going to get them jobs real soon here. There are 3 books in the exhibition, and you may pick them up and read them. That's what books are for. Don't worry about being careful with them. They are meant to be read, and they are wonderful. To the right side is, to the left side is the graphic design exhibition, and to the right side is a fine art exhibition for our juniors who put together a show called Rapidity 25. So please check out both sides. Also, down the hallway is work of sophomore students who put together some work for interactive posters. They too can be can be touched and moved and experienced. Thank you all again for coming, and please come back in the spring in May, April probably, April, to celebrate the 12 other seniors that are going to be graduating in May. So thanks again, and have a great night.